Good evening, ladies and gents. I'm your guy, Arrington Gavin, and you are tuning into the Arrington Gavin Show, your go to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day, whether it's politics, pop culture, sports, or the latest buzz. We're diving deep and keeping it real. So kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. Yes, it's about that time, y'all. It's about that time. It's about that time. Look, I'm so excited, as always, to get the time to chop it up with you, the listeners, the viewers out there that continue to support the Arrington Gavin Show. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting this program. Look, new episodes drop every evening. All right, weeknights on digital airways, streaming airways, as you can check us out on YouTube. Our platform is R Smooth Club Media. Okay, the letter R and then Smooth Club Media on YouTube. So subscribe, hit the like button. I truly appreciate that. Share it with everybody. Let's see here. Rumble, for all you Rumble subscribers out there, you can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show from that platform as well as Facebook. And hey, follow us on social media on Instagram at the Arrington Gavin Show. So multiple ways you can tune into the program. All major podcast platforms, the iHeartRadio app. Let's see, Spotify, Stitcher, you name it, you can follow all digital and streaming platforms. Let's see what else we have going on. We got a great show in store for you today. We're gonna be bringing up, the after the Olympics, we're still finishing off the recent Olympics, the Paris Olympics, and it was great. It was great. Of course, U.S. came on top, and we were, I think, around 126 medals in total, but tying for gold with, I believe it was Japan. But we still had a great turnaround, great athletes, had some historic moments. World records were broken, Olympic records were broken. Great performances. Let's talk about that closing, by the way. And I know it's like, a few days past it, but still, that closing was dope. I mean, you had Tom Cruise freaking skydive from the top of the building. First of all, Tom Cruise is a daredevil. That man, he be doing too much. Like, just by when they showed a sky view of that and then they looked down, I was like, I'm about to throw up. I think I got a nosebleed. Like, I don't like heights at all. But they had him, they had her perform, which she killed it as always. You had just, it was great performances all around. And then towards the end, they had kind of led the troop down to Los Angeles, because that's where the 2028 Olympics will be happening, is in Los Angeles. So Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre performed. The Red Hot Chili Peppers performed, and then you had what's the girl's name? Billie Eilish. She performed. So it was pretty cool. But yes, we got 6 new sports that's going to be entering as well. Famous multi-Grammy award-winning producer and performer Kurt Franklin. He was on Cam Newton's recent podcast, and he kind of he called out people in the Christian community for embracing two controversial figures, and not uh uh not what's the word I'm looking for? Not correcting them for their wrongdoing, in a sense, right? So I'm glad he spoke about that. We'll talk more on who those two individuals were. Also, let's see here. I'm gonna kind of share my thoughts about two individuals, two public figures. One, very well-known conservative journalist and talk radio host, Larry Elder, as well as retired NFL star, sports analyst, sports commentator, Marcellus Wiley. I gotta talk about these guys, right? And also too, I don't know if you heard, but this is an old story that's now been settled. cafeteria lady stole chicken wings from the school, and now she has to serve 9 years. Oh, it's more to the story. It's more to the story. So don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed, because we're going to talk about it here on the show. Let's see, what else do we have happening. Going to talk about a high-profile Texas Democrat who's endorsing Republican Senator Ted Cruz in the upcoming election. Yes, a Democrat is endorsing a Republican, but not just any Republican, Ted Cruz. Rare. It's very rare. So, so we're going to be talking about that, as well as comedian Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr. Lord have mercy. Comedian Roy Wood Jr. Oh man, got to mix up with another person. Roy Wood Jr. He's getting ready to host a new show on CNN, so that'll be pretty interesting. So we'll talk a little bit about that later on too. Let's see. Before we move on further in the show, we have to acknowledge some of our proud supporters of the Arrington Gavin Show, because we couldn't do this without them, like my good friends over at Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Rugged is the new Smooth. That's right. It's an all-natural men's grooming line that offers 17 scented beard oils and beard balms, conditioning shampoos, exfoliating soaps, body wash, you name it, they have it. Accessories, they have everything, my friends. They have everything. Because look, I know you men out there, you're like, I'm thinking about growing out my beard. I'm thinking about growing out my mustache. I'm really embracing it now. My lady likes it. Hey, I like it, but I just don't know how to maintain it, because when it gets to itching, I just want to cut it all off. I want to go back to baby face. And then you got your old cats out there that's just regretting getting old, and they don't want to embrace their full beards because it's mostly gray, and then they're anti dyeing their beard and this and that and the other. Let me tell you something, my friends. Embrace the facial hair. Embrace, embrace, embrace. It is okay. It is okay. I've rocked the beard for so long, and I love it. I wouldn't be anybody without it. I really would. I'll be a different man without this beard. You will be like, oh, who is that guy? Look, let me tell you something. I love my beard. But I know with a beard like this, I have to make sure I have a routine. I have to continue to maintain it. And because I have the products from Rugged Evolution Beard Care, I can now sustain that great routine and make sure I take care of my facial hair, because look, facial hair is the magnet to bacteria and grease, and we're in the warmer climates now, man, and we sweat, and all that buildup gets underneath the beard, and if we don't do anything, it builds up a bad odor, and you just don't want that stuff. So again, I highly recommend Rugged Evolution Beard Care. For more information about Rugged Evolution Beard Care, go visit their website at www.ruggedevo.com. Again, that's www.ruggedevo.com. Let's see. In addition to some more supporters, we're gonna do a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. We're going to start off, of course, with our favorite segment of the day, the fun fact. So I bet you're wondering, what fun fact is Arrington going to bring up today? Stand by, because I got a good one for you. Don't go anywhere, my friends. You are tuning into the Arrington Gavin Show. I'm your guy, Arrington Gavin. Don't go anywhere.
Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Order our scented beard oils and beard balms to help you maintain and grow the perfect beard. Order today. Try our men's care products like the full body exfoliating cleansing bars, body wash, smooth stash, and more. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. We're your luxury but affordable men's care line. And remember,
Rugged is the new Smooth.
Welcome back, my friends. Welcome back to the Arrington Gavin Show. I'm your guy, Arrington Gavin. Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's get it going with our fun fact of the day. Drum roll, please. Okay, let's get it going. All right, so today's fun fact. Did you know that the longest anyone has held their breath underwater is over 24 and a half minutes? Now, I'll be honest. I wouldn't recommend anybody to try this at home because 24 and a half minutes for me is, I don't know, death. Okay. I could never, ever. 24 and a half minutes, though, is very true. Says here the world record for breath holding underwater was achieved by Croatian, I don't even know how to pronounce that name, Budimar Sobat, on March 27th of 2021, who held his breath for a total of 24 minutes and 37 seconds. And on average, a human can hold their breath between 30 to 90 seconds. Wow. First of all, this man is not human, obviously, to hold your breath that long. He is a human fish. The man probably lives underwater. I would have questioned his seeing if he was human or not. When I had to run some tests, I gotta check out those lungs. This man has some extreme, like this man could probably run for hours without getting tired. I mean, good gracious, 24 and a half minutes. Never would have thought. Never would have thought. Okay, let's get it going with our first story, y'all. As I mentioned before, this lady stole chicken wings. She stole chicken wings. She was a lunch cafeteria lady, stole chicken wings from her school, and now she has to serve not one, not two, but 9 years behind bars because she stole some chicken wings. Now, it must have been some good chicken wings. I'm just saying, good Lord. Let me find my notes right here. Okay. So this is reported by Fox 32 out of Chicago. It says here, Cook County woman gets 9 years in prison for stealing $1.5 million in chicken wings from school district. 1.5, trying to fix my mic here. $1.5 million in chicken wings. That's a lot of damn chicken. 1 point from a school. Let me continue this. All right. As reported by Fox 32 out of Chicago, it says here a Dalton woman pleaded guilty to stealing more than $1.5 million of food, primarily chicken wings, from South Suburban School District. Verl Liddell, 68 years old, was sentenced to 9 years in prison during a hearing recently. At the time of the crime, Lindell was working as the director of food services for Harvey School District 152. I bet they regret hiring her for that position. Says here between July 2020 and February of 2022, prosecutors said Liddell placed hundreds of unauthorized orders for food items, including 11,000 cases of chicken wings, through the school district's main supplier, Gordon Food Service. Now, the orders were placed separately from the district's legitimate orders, prosecutors said. The massive fraud began at the height of COVID, during the time when students were not allowed to be physically present in school. Even though the children were learning remotely, the school district continued to provide meals for the students that their families could pick up, prosecutors said when the charges were filed. So it looks here that orders were still coming in, but because students couldn't physically be in school, at least parents could still retrieve meals, because let's be honest, they might be in households where they can't afford to feed full time, their child. Like they can't give them breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's life. That happens in our world. And so it helps that they can go to school, get a meal, and then boom, they can just say provide dinner, or can provide, dinner and breakfast that helps within their budget. So the fact that this lady had the audacity to steal, thinking she like, oh look, I can get bump them kids. I'm getting all this shit. Lady, what you gonna do with 11,000 cases of chicken wings? Look, what are you gonna do with all that chicken? Shoot. She said, I'm gonna make some room. No one realized when they went to visit her and saw that freezer like barely closing, like that thing was just overstuffed with just packed. Like no one said, Lindell got a lot of chicken wings in there. That's a lot of chicken, ain't it? God dang. Okay, as I continue, believing the orders were genuine, Gordon Food Services billed Harvey School District 152, which then paid for the food items according to court records. Now, Lindell would then allegedly use one of the school district's cargo vans to pick up and transport the stolen food. It's quoted here that the prosecutor said the food was never brought to the school or provided to the students. A routine mid-year audit conducted by the district's business manager in January of 2022 showed that food services departments had exceeded its annual budget by over $300,000 despite only being halfway through the school year. Prosecutors said, okay, Lindell was the only person responsible for placing food orders on behalf of the school district. Let's see here. Since she was charged with felony theft, continuing a financial crime enterprise, and forging in January of 2023. Let me just tell y'all this. Once again, there's a lot of smart people out there in this world. But when it comes to common sense, I talk about this all the time. When it comes to common sense, what? There is none. People, y'all got to start enrolling back into Common Sense University. What makes you think you can get away with stealing, I don't know, 11,000 cases of chicken wings, especially during COVID, where people can easily tally, like, hold up, she's the only person that's in control of this. So why is this the only person? Like, I like chicken wings too. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a dick, but I ain't gonna go to the verge of stealing and make it so obvious. And now you got to serve 9 years. How embarrassing, first of all, y'all, if you think about it, how embarrassing is it when you're like in jail, you next to with the hard criminals. What you in for, man? Robbie, what you in for? I took a couple lives. What you in for? I'm in for this. I'm in for X, Y, and Z. They're gonna go up to Lindell, and she gonna be like, what you in for? Chicken wings. What you in for? Chicken wings. Yeah, I stole chicken wings from a school district. What? 11,000 cases to be exact. And I'll do it again if I had to. Like, you in jail for 9 years for chicken wings. Like, when that's now on your permanent record. Like, when you say you do time, say you leave out early on good behavior, who's gonna hire you? You will never have a director's position ever. Miss Liddell, I think that's your name. I mean, like, what were you thinking? That girl Vera, you must really love chicken. You really love chicken. My goodness. $1.5 million worth of chicken wings. Man, I tell you, I thought I seen it all. I really thought I seen it all, but apparently I have not. And this lady said, I'm gonna get away with this, and I'm never gonna get caught. Again, it didn't say she stole it and was giving it out to other people or giving it out to families or selling it or whatnot. Like, it didn't say any of that within the article I just read. So again, as I joke, this chick really did just steal these cases and probably just kept it for her. Her family's like, chicken wings again? You better eat them chicken wings. Shoot, I slaved hard get them chicken wings. You better eat that chicken. Them kids were eating chicken wings. She thought she was going to eat chicken wings forever and never get caught. You got to do better, Vera. You got to do better. Now you got to serve time. What in the world? Alrighty, my friends. As I digress from the chicken wing stealer, let's go ahead and let's see, which one do I want to move on next? Let's move it on to the Olympics. But before I do that, guys, I have to acknowledge another proud supporter of the Arrington Gavin Show, Ingenious Gin. That's right. Ingenious Gin is a Black-owned, veteran-owned spirit. For all you gin connoisseurs out there, I highly recommend this amazing gin to your collection. Now, look, I've said it many times on this program. I am an avid bourbon and whiskey drinker, right? That's my preference that I prefer. Never been a gin person, but I became a believer after trying Ingenious Gin. That is the only gin that I drink. I like to have it neat on the rocks or in a cocktail. Look, it's a rose gold complexion gin. Like the average color of gin is usually clear. This is a rose gold, so it has a distinction. It has a separation from the average gin, and it is very smooth again. And it's a veteran-owned business. So we on here on this program, we support our veterans. So I highly recommend to do that. If you're watching this program right now, you see the QR code. I mean, the code that I placed on the screen below. You will receive 20% off your purchase. For those who are listening, guess what? You're just going to have to watch the video version to get that code, because I'm telling you, it is so good. What you can do when you're at checkout, if you go on their website, ingeniousgin.com, www.ingeniousgin.com, you can place that code and you will receive 20% off your purchase. That is right, my friends. You can go check them out in your local spirit stores or ABC stores, depending on which city or state you're in. And just again, support local businesses, support small businesses. We're big advocates of small business. I'm a small business owner myself, and I support all small businesses, not major corporation, but small businesses here. So again, gotta shout them out. Ingenious Gin, very smooth, so smart, so unique in flavor. And again, please check them out and drink responsibly. If you're 21 and older, please check them out. If you're under 21, then look, forget you even heard this. Do not be stupid like Miss Vera, who stole the chicken wings. Do not do that. Let's move it on to our next story, guys. So the Olympics, right? Don't know if you checked out the Olympics recently, but it was, I would say, one of the most entertaining first of all, I'm biased. I love the Olympics. My wife and I, we love the Olympics. My wife is a former collegiate swimmer, and she comes from a huge athletic family. And so, I mean, sports in general, they just love. And like myself, I love it too. But like my wife, she had me glued to swimming. We was watching gymnastics, track and field. I was glued to ping pong and, table tennis and badminton. Those are my sports I love to enjoy. And really, each Olympics, I always try to pick up a new sport to check out, because there's so many unique sports that they bring on. I mean, I think it was told 11, let me see, it might have been like 11,000 or a little over 10,000 athletes in total, representing all countries in this world. And it was dope. You had 3-on-3 basketball competition. You obviously has your regular men's and women's basketball competition. You had wrestling. You had rowing. You have so many awesome events, and then you still have the Winter Olympics that will be arriving later on, as well as the Paralympics that will be. So I highly recommend to check out the Paralympics. Give them as much praise and support, because they are professional athletes, just like world-class athletes, just like the recent Olympics we just watched. And it is so awesome, especially for people that have certain disabilities that they probably thought, man, I can't do anything, but no, you have people that do the exact same and are just as athletic as people say with no disabilities. They still out there competing, and they are champions. So I highly recommend to get ready to check out the Paralympics. I'm excited to check it out, but I digress from that. This recent Olympics was dope. You actually had the debut of one new sport, and that was breakdancing, but it was called breaking, where people, from different countries, breakdancing. And I think one girl actually is going viral because, sorry, but they said she did awful. They were not a fan of her breakdancing at all. And they're like, this girl ruined it for the debut. I won't say which country or who her name was, but I'm just telling you what I hear through the grapevine. Okay, so this reported by NBC5 Chicago is titled, "Will breaking be at the 2028 Olympics? Here are the sports leaving and entering for the Los Angeles Games that will be happening in 2028. So Let's see here. Let's talk about some of these new sports that will be entering in. Let me see. So as I mentioned before, they said breaking most likely will be leaving, which I don't understand. If you debut it, why all of a sudden you're gonna just like leave it? Now you already acknowledge your Olympic champions, so I would think that you will, and I hope that they don't like take it away. I hope they do embrace it and bring it back, because now that it's the start of a new sport, then keep it going. Like don't stop it. Like keep the momentum going. It's new. Don't just give it a one and done thing and be like, oh nope, next 4 years. No. Because breakdancing is a very popular sport, especially overseas, because you're talking about the best break dancers, turning their bodies into machines. Is so awesome. And the work that they put in for that is pretty unique. So, as I mentioned, they're saying breaking is not coming back. They even said boxing. Boxing is a sport that has not been mentioned or has confirmed of the program for Los Angeles, which again, I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. Says here this is because of ongoing corruption allegations surrounding the International Boxing Association, the group that until 2020 was responsible for responsible for overseeing regulations related to qualifying and competition within the Olympics. Now, in the last two Olympics, the IBA has not been involved in putting on the boxing tournament, putting the sport on provisional status. If a new governing body cannot be found, boxing will not be included in the Olympic program. Now, that'll be very unfortunate if it doesn't, because again, you look at the long history that boxing has been in the Olympics. So I hope that that's not the case. I hope it can still continue on in the Olympics. I know we have a local Olympic medalist in boxing from the area. Actually, we have multiple. I mean, the late great Sweet Pea Whitaker, Pernell Whitaker. He was an Olympic gold medalist, and he's from Hampton Roads. So I hope that they can continue this. Says here, okay, here's the new sports. So there's a total of 6 new sports will make their way into the Olympic program in Los Angeles, including 2 making their debuts in the games. Now, the 2 sports will be flag football and squash are the ones that will be making their debut. Now, flag football, okay, so my guess is, are they going to be all professional football players that will be competing in the Olympics, or would it be like outside? Because I hope it's not like pro football players. And I'm gonna tell you why. For one, they are professionals. They have their, and well, I guess no, because see, I was about to have something, but then I'm like, well, you know what? Then that's like saying, is no need for NBA players to compete in the Olympics. So, huh? I guess, I think there should be some form of like either a qualifier, just the way how gymnastics has qualifying. Like there should be some kind of like qualifying matches too, because the interesting thing is when it comes to the NBA, I mean, excuse me, when it comes to basketball in the Olympics, everybody representing the men's basketball team in the Olympics plays in the NBA, and they're, I mean, I'm sorry, but they're stars. They don't have guys that are from the United States that might say they might be successful overseas in Europe or stuff. I mean, I don't know. I just, think about it, right? Um, but that's majority, that there's a good portion of people within the in the basketball tournaments. I mean, well, check this out. Look at I I know for sure that, say, China's team is probably the majority of players that play in the China league. I guarantee you a lot of those cats does not play in the NBA. So what I'm trying to go with is, if there's flag football and you have mainly guys that play in the NFL that are stars in the NFL, what about the guys that are not in the NFL but they are regular pros at flag football? I'm gonna contact an old buddy of mine actually in college, because he competes um professionally, if I'm not mistaken, for competitively in flag football. They have major tournaments, cash prizes representing different areas, different countries. I'm curious to get his take on that. I'm gonna try and get him on the show. Um, so yeah, squash is another one. Squash is a racket sport played by singles or doubles players in a four-walled court, with players striking the ball onto playable surfaces within the court in an attempt to prevent legal return shots. Now, we're already familiar with flag football. Now it says here the World Squash Federation has tried on several occasions to get squash on into the Olympics, but was finally successful for the 2028 games. The sport, like flag football, will be considered optional and may not return after the LA games. Okay, so I'm assuming breakdancing must have been like an optional one. Uh let's see here. It says a total of 4 sports will be making its return. Baseball, softball is one of them because they were on a hiatus. Uh they were not seen during the 2024 during the recent Paris games. Um let's see here. What are some of the other ones? Lacrosse, okay, great sport, great sport. Um just something. Where is the other ones? Okay, fine. No skateboarding. Skateboarding. Okay, I thought skateboarding was already on there. Sport climbing, surfing will all move from optional sports to permanent. Okay, so skateboarding. Well, okay, I get it. Because skateboarding is still fairly new to the Olympics. Climbing, which is very difficult. I don't know if you've ever tried to rock climb before. It's hard as hell. So you got climbing and then also surfing, which surfing wasn't actually in um Paris. It was in another area. I forgot where it was, but it's somewhere where they get like high waves and high tides, and but I don't know all the surfing terminology. High swell, bro. The swell, the swell. Yeah, that I knew guys that surf and they always talk about, let's check out the swell. I got my swell report. I'm like, what's the swell? You say swole? No, the swell, bruh. Swell, bruh. Swell. So yeah, so that is gonna be the sports that will be entering into the 2028 Olympics. So stand by because I'm very it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting Olympics. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. We're gonna come back here more with the Arrington Gavin show. I am your guy, Arrington Gavin. Don't go anywhere, my friends. And yeah, don't change that dial. We'll be back. What's happening, my friends? What's happening? So, next up, I just have to talk about this individual because, and I try not to, I'm not making this like a bashing contest or anything, but this individual said that really just, I just, I didn't care for it, and I'm like, okay, well, I would like to use my platform for good and to explain the reason because he asked a question on his show, and like myself. I'm speaking to you all, the listeners or viewers out there, and I always will respond from comments or DMs, regardless whoever approaches me in public or anything like that. They like say, "Hey, I checked out your show," and you asked the question this, and I had an answer. I'm like, okay, cool. So this personnel had asked a question, and I just wanted to come out with an answer. That's all I'm doing. So uh nationally known, because he's very well known. Excuse me. Felt felt like I had to burp, but it didn't come. So conservative political commentator and talk radio host Larry Elder. You all know him. Some of you might love him, some of you might can't stand him. But you know what? I give Larry Elder props is because he's passionate about his beliefs. So and I heard Don Lemon say this, and I'm like, okay, I totally agree with what you're saying, Don. I listen to everybody, right? I listen to all platforms. I watch all the news. I listen to all podcasters, talkers, you name it, right? I listen to people from the likes of like Roland S. Martin, right? Roland Martin, who in my mind is one of the most iconic voices in politics and in just in media, right? Um Dr. Rashard Ritchie, Ed Gordon, Soledad O'Brien, let me see, Chris Cuomo, uh 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 oh my gosh, Kyle, I'm forgetting his name to save my life, or like Dave Patman, right? Like I listen to so many, and then I listen from, you know, I listen to a lot of known figures on the left. I listen to a lot of known figures on the right. I listen to Candace Owens. I've listened to Larry Elder. I've listened to Tucker Carlson. I've listened to Hannity or Mark Levine, Don Bongino, Dan Bongino, excuse me, not Don, Dan Bongino. I mean, I listen to all sorts of news. I've listened to all voices, right? Extremely, conservative voices, center based voices, people that are very independent. Tesla Figaro, um, oh gosh, I mentioned Don Lemon. I just listen to them all. Um, but people always say, Aaron, how can you even listen to that person? If you're opposed to their opinions, how can you listen to them? Because I don't have to like what I'm listening to, still find it entertaining, because I still see the passion. Now there's some people that just will throw out stupid talking points. Like, I'm sorry, but like, Candace is very passionate, and she will back what she, even though she knows she's 100% wrong, because I don't agree with like probably 100% of stuff that she says, but I give her props, right? I give her props. She has grown a career of, her, talking how she personally feels, and she's made into a multi-million dollar empire. Um, but shows like the Five on Fox News, I think it's garbage. I mean, you know Gunfeld, I mean, yeah, Gunfeld has a couple of wisecrack jokes here and there, but it's just like, I don't see, like, all they're doing is just spewing out talking points, and just it's really corny humor. um anyway, enough about that. Larry Elder, if you probably know him, he's a very, very he's been talked about as the the black face of white supremacy. That's been words that I think he said that people have called him, or referred to him as. Very well known talk radio host, especially based out of California. He's been in talk radio for years. He was also a governor, not a candidate for the governor of California. He was actually the Republican nominee that was going head to head with Gavin Newsom. So he made it He made it pretty far. He was also recently a presidential candidate on the Republican ticket, but didn't make it far. I think he was campaigning from, like, he made his announcement in April and then ended like in October. But he was still a presidential candidate. And now he's back to to radio, to TV, and all that good stuff. And again, he is a person that conservative movements, they love him. Why? Because they need that black person that can continue to be the almost like that foreign individual, that, oh, finally we got a black person that is very, very far right, and they can, "Ooh, look, we heard it from him, so we need that black voice." Same like Candace Owens. Okay, let's let's be honest. You gotta have those voices. You got those. Let me tell you something. Black conservatives make so much bread, it ain't even funny. I'll just be honest. If I spoke highly about nothing but the conservative movement I will definitely be banking in some cash right now. I'll just be honest. But hey, look, I'm an independent. I respect all people that that come on this show. I have friends that are strong conservative Republicans. I have friends that are very liberal Democrats, right? I have people on all sides, and that's the fun part, right? Because I get to hang out with everybody. I'm invited to all the parties. But anyway, going back to Larry Elder, recently he was on his show, the Larry Elder Show, which you can watch on the Salem news channel. He was sharing a video about candidate, former president, now Donald Trump, giving his thoughts on his appearance at the NABJ, the National Association of Black Journalists, that was recently. Recently, I forgot where was that. It might have been in I don't know if it was in Chicago. I forgot where was that, but he was basically on the side of Donald Trump, of course, and just having his issues with the NABJ. And then he asked the question is, what is black journalism? Like, really? Can someone answer that for me? What is black journalism? So he considers himself a journalist, by the way, right? And it's funny because a black individual is asking, what is black journalism? Now, this is just stuff that I pulled up. But before I even pulled it up, it already pretty much answered it for me. Like it shared the same answer that I had. So it says here, African American men and women sought avenues to share accurate, meaningful stories of black life and give voice to a wide range of black experiences and issues that matter to them. That, my friends, is what you call the black press. Who reports on the black press most of the time? Black journalists. What is that called? Black journalism. You know that there's such thing as black media, Larry. If you didn't know, well, it doesn't surprise me. I don't think you're a member of NABJ. Now, I'm no journalist myself. I'm an opinionated person. I'm just sharing my unfiltered thought. I'm a talker. I'm a conversationalist. That's what I do. People like you, people like Harrison Faulkner out of Fox News, y'all not NABJ members. Doesn't surprise me. I don't know why. Who would even ask that question? What is black journalists? I'm gonna tell you nothing. Black journalists, black journalism are people like Soledad O'Brien, like Roland Martin, like Dr. Shard Ritchie, like Mark Lamont Hill, like Teslin Figueroa, like Brian Gumble, like Ed Gordon, like Armstrong Williams, okay, like Shermichael Singleton. I mean, the list goes on and on. I can name so many other individuals. Lester Holt, April Ryan, Jamel Hill, Don Lemon. Okay. Um, so many individuals I can name. But once again, Larry's at it again. This is what makes him the big bucks. Saying stupid stuff like that. And this is why I get irritated by guys like Larry Elder and even people like Candace Owens, because you catch them a lot speaking against black people. Now, let's be honest. The whole like uh all skin folk ain't kinfolk, right? Meaning that just because they black don't mean they always gonna be, for you. And that's very true. And that's very sad because I'm the opposite. I always love to root for people that are black. It's not, it's not always a race thing, but I loved, it makes me more happy when I see black people succeed and thrive. It just does. It really does. Because for one, I'm like, okay, boom, that's great ammo to keep helping me persevere. If I want to grow, look, I know that's a person that's their actions is now leading by example. So I can continue to look, if they can do it, so can I. And that's what I love to see. But when I see people like a Larry Elder, it just makes my tail itch, right? It really does. Like, I'm like, ugh, like, man, you just got a bad taste in my mouth, brother. Like, it's just he's an interesting individual. And see, now you got people like him, like I remember in the early stages of not when you say early stages, but what you can I'll say like in the earlier in his career, Larry Elder was always had like a person he always used to kind of debate with, and that was Leo Terrell, who was at the time, he was an attorney, but he said he considers himself a civil rights attorney. He's now a Fox correspondent, or Fox News contributor, and he's very much conservative now. And he's like, with the help of Larry, why? Because they see where the money's going, y'all. They see where the cash flow is, and look, the Republican Party is always going to be the party of money and power, and that's what they want to do. So they're going to continue to do whatever they can. They can care less. They make a fool of themselves. They're like, well, look, I could care less. Me personally, I think they were probably bullied at a young age, or picked on or something. They just like, bump them. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it. Yeah, bro. Like it's weird. It really is, man. And again, I have nothing against Larry Elder personally. I tune into his programs. I watch him. I listen to him because you got to get different perspective. Larry Elder is an extremely intelligent individual. He's been doing this for a long time. He's very passionate about his beliefs. Again, I'm just answering a question because he said, "What is black journalism?" And he seem so shocked. What is black journalism? What is black journalism? Can someone answer that for me? I mean, he's a trip. He really is a trip. But I just had to, again, put out, and that gives me the shout out. I want to shout out the Griot. I want to shout out the Root. I want to shout out Black Star Network. I want to shout out the New Journal and Guide. I want to shout out Ebony. I want to shout out Essence. I want to shout out NABJ. I want to shout out Jet. I might be forgetting some other publications. Oh, Rolling Out. I'm trying to Urban View. Okay, BET. I think it's In the Black Network. There's so many publications that I want to acknowledge, but I at least want to name just some of that are black media, black driven. At the time, we had the Black News Network that was pretty popular, but they folded after 2 years, which was unfortunate. But I mean, there's so many prominent black media, because it matters, guys. It really does matter, because I feel like in the black community we lack information, and sometimes it's not always us, because we do have to do our own research, but it's about like where we can really believe and pay more attention, and what publications we want to trust in, right? And I think that I think that it's very important to for I think it's very important for those publications to get more notoriety, because there's people that like say, look, I'd rather read this because this really is relatable. This can relate to my everyday life. This is talking about some meaningful stories. I saw a network recently that was catered to people of a Catholic faith, right? There was a full channel just for that. You have Al Jazeera, right? You have so many different publications that's catered to a specific group, a religious-based group, ethnicity, culture, all that stuff. So yes, I just had to throw out and talk about Larry Elder, because again, like I said, he's back at it again. But hey, Larry's gonna be Larry. That's all I can say about that, y'all. Larry will be Larry. We're gonna do another commercial break, and we'll come back with more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Don't go anywhere, my friends. And do not, and I repeat, do not change that dial.
Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Order our scented beard oils and beard balms to help you maintain and grow the perfect beard. Order today. Try our men's care products like the full body exfoliating cleansing bars, body wash, smooth stash, and more. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. We're your luxury but affordable men's care line. And remember,
Rugged is the new smooth.
What is happening, y'all? Welcome back to the Arrington Gavin show. So check this out. Recently, Marcellus Wiley. A lot of y'all might not know who Marcellus Wiley is, but if I can, if I can re kind of backtrack on who this individual is for those who are unfamiliar with him. Just give me 1 second so I can actually let's see here. Marcellus Wiley is a retired NFL star, turned popular sports commentator, specifically talking in football, but he was always very entertaining. I will say that he was always very entertaining. Um, I'm trying to find this. Uh, Here we go. So Marcellus Wiley was retired NFL star. He did 10 years in the league, playing with the Buffalo Bills, San Diego Chargers at the time, which is now the Los Angeles Chargers, Dallas Cowboys, as well as Jacksonville. Um, from there, he went on to host his own podcast on the Dan Patrick Network. He formerly co-hosted Sports Nation on ESPN. Then went on to doing some sports radio in Los Angeles, and he also hosted a show called on FS1 called Speak for Yourself, which he co-hosted with Jason Whitlock, another interesting individual. another black individual that can never stop talking negative about black people. He's a very far right conservative commentator on Blaze TV, and you can check him out. You can see his accuracy, his opinions, and his journalist work is so fake. It's just as fake as his hairpiece that he has. I'm telling you, check that out. That hair it looks different. But anyways, Marcellus White has always been a very opinionated individual. A very look, he gives you his opinion. Don't care what people say about it. All that good stuff. Now, he at the time, I would say Marcellus was. I wouldn't say at the top, but he was on TV very regularly. Like, you saw this man on a regular basis. Okay, he was doing great. He was doing great for himself. Then all of a sudden, he ended up leaving FS1 after well, really, he was still on FS1 when Jason Whitlock left, because then Emmanuel Acho became the co-host, and they were doing some great content. Then Marcellus ended up leaving, and you were like, okay, whatever happened to Marcellus? What happened? And you can hear about a story more often on through his own platform and stuff. But then I read an article that he had bought some shares into this new streaming channel called Brinks TV, which is like I guess a sports catered free platform with like unfiltered based talks, conversations, sports, entertainment, you name it. And Marcellus he has his own show called like Never Shut Up. and it's entertaining. I like the scene, the atmosphere of it. And he recently talked a little bit about politics. I'm like, oh, that's something I never really hear Marcellus speak on. And he shares his political affiliations. He considers himself more of a moderate Republican. That's what I definitely said moderate, but I see more that he's more like a moderate Republican. And he had shared that he received some like an email or a text from the Democratic Party, and the email was it was sending to him talking about the DNC. He was just pretty much explaining how, like, okay, are the Democrats and bribing for votes, right? And when I first saw it, I didn't think that he was personally attacking the Democratic Party, because this happens in politics regardless. Like, a lot of these big name figures, look, this happens again, it happens in politics. It's a business. So in order to receive votes, they'll do anything they can to get those people that they think that can help get that audience that they're really struggling to get. So this email or text that he's showing on his show, it says here that It's saying any A-lister or influencers, excuse me, any A-list influencers or celebrities who would like to attend the DNC will get flights, hotels, credentials to convention and exclusive invites, the whole 9 yards. So on their trip, right? It's saying that the offer will give them $20,000 plus flights, hotels, etc. Um, Look, if this is accurate, if this is true, it's a bad look for the Democratic Party at this day and age, at this point right now, because they're doing so great with this election. And look, I'm no Democrat, but I am leaning on that side. I've already shared who I'm voting for, and like it or love it, I can care less. I just my personal stance. I can't go with Donald Trump. I just can't. I can't. Um, but as I continue, uh this is something that I do think that could be accurate. I know a lot of people in the comments are saying, "Dude, it's a spam email, it's a fake text or fake email." But is it really? Because again, Marcellus Wiley is a well-known figure. He has well over 150,000 subscribers. I think he's close to like 200,000 subscribers on his YouTube alone. He has thousands of followers on social media. He is a public figure. People's witness, he's a former NFL star. He's you've seen on ESPN and FS1, the top two sports networks, and yeah. So I purposely I've seen I can believe that they're giving him this offer now. At the end of the day, I don't know what to believe. I really don't. He put it on his platform, and he spent about a good he just did he shared about 11 minutes on his podcast about this. So again, I mean, it's unfortunate if it's true. If it's, hopefully it's not true. But again, it's politics, and if so, shame on you, the Democratic Party, for for trying to bribe influencers, in order to get votes. Because to me, you should win votes by policies. You should win votes by the candidate. You shouldn't win votes off of money. But hey, we live in a very money hungry society. So, yeah, guys. I'll talk a little more about Marcellus, 'cause I am running out of time, but I will continue to speak more on my thoughts on what Marcellus had to say about that also. And really not, I won't spend too much time on it. And then also I left out a couple of other stories that I was going to bring up, like a high profile Democrat who's endorsing Ted Cruz, as well as comedian Roy Wood Jr. Having a new program coming on CNN. So I'll talk a little more on that on the next show. I wish we keep on running out of time, but hey, that's what happens when you're having fun with your friends. Look here, fam. Y'all be easy, stay blessed, continue to support the Arrington Gavin show. Look, it airs weeknights at 11 p.m. On the radio waves at 11 p.m. on WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk out of Dallas, Georgia, as well as WDJYFM.com. And then every evenings, you can catch us on all major podcast platforms, as well as streaming services, YouTube, Rumble. You can check us out, and please follow us on our Instagram page at the Arrington Gavin Show. Y'all take care. God bless. Make sure you're registered to vote. If not, get registered and share a friend to Voting is Power.